What's good, gang? One of the more popular videos on my channel at the moment is the video in which I tell you 7 things to never tell anyone. Well, I had a lot of requests. People were asking me what are some more things to stop talking to people about. And honestly, I wanted to talk about oversharing because I feel like oversharing is a very specific type of telling your business. So first things first, what is oversharing? Oversharing obviously is you sharing too much. You're sharing too much information with somebody that you're not supposed to share it with. But why do we overshare? Where does this come from? What makes us do this? Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why you could possibly be oversharing. So oversharing really could be a coping mechanism, right? Somebody could have a really bad moment going on in their life right now, and in order to deal with the stress, to cope with the stress, they start just talking about it. They're venting, they're trying to get it out of their system. They need somebody to just know because it's weighing heavy on their mind, right? And I understand why this is a coping mechanism, but it's a bad coping mechanism. You should not be oversharing just because you feel anxious in a moment or you're feeling all this stress, because depending on who you're telling it to, it can make them feel some sort of way about you. This really could be a cry for help, right? This really could be somebody who is looking for some sort of help in this moment and their mental health is in a poor state. And I understand when people's mental health is in a poor state, you're not really thinking about your boundaries. You're not really thinking about being confidential. You kind of just are spilling your guts. You're being vulnerable for a moment. And look, we're not going to talk about oversharing in that sense today because that sense is a very specific case. But what I want to talk to you about today specifically is falling for the trap of wanting to be understood. We all want to be understood. I want to be understood. You want to be understood. Every human being on earth wants to be understood. That is just natural. That's a part of the human condition. However, when you are trying to overshare, right, purposefully or unpurposefully, when you overshare with somebody, you can permeate the image that someone has of you in their mind. You are not responsible for the image that somebody has of you in their mind, but I just want you to let it be known once again that when you tell people certain information, you will change the way that they think about you. You're not in charge of that, right? You're not in charge of how they feel about you or how they think about you, but you will change the way that they think about you. Vulnerability is power, and it's a wonderful thing to be vulnerable, but it's a wonderful thing to be vulnerable with the right person. You know, if you are not distributing your vulnerability amongst the right person, this really affects the way that somebody judges you and the way that somebody views you. And what we're trying to do here is remain confidential. So let's get straight to it. I have 7 things to tell you about to not overshare with anybody so that you can have a better life and have a better image in other people's heads. So the first thing that I want to tell you to stop oversharing is someone else's business. Never, ever, 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 ever tell someone else's business because it's not your business to tell. This is not your business. This is not your affairs. That's not your life, right? And you take away someone else's opportunity to share whatever they want to share with whoever they want to share it with. And more importantly, it makes you look bad, right? It really does make you look bad. It makes you look like a gossiper. It makes it look like you're somebody who will spout out hearsay. You know, you're someone who's doing the telephone game. You're someone who's doing all this he say, she say. It doesn't make you look good. It makes you actually look petty. It makes you look like somebody who just can't hold it to themselves, right? It makes you look like somebody who is not confidential at all. It gives a bad impression when you're talking about other people's business. It immediately, whenever I'm talking to somebody and they start telling me about someone else's privacy, you know, something that's private for someone else, they start telling me about it. It just makes me think like, well, if I tell you something, you're going to immediately share it with the next person. You don't know how to hold it in. You don't know how to hold the lid on the pot. You let out all the steam, you know what I'm saying? It makes you look like that person who's all up in the Kool-Aid and don't even know the flavor. Because a lot of times, in all honesty, when you're telling someone else's business, you don't know the full point of view. You don't know their affairs. You don't know their life. You don't know their story. You don't know their situation. You don't know anything. So for you to be talking about somebody else's life, you're giving a false image and a false point of view to someone else, right? Because you don't know their life. You don't know what's going on. You only know what they told you. And they could be holding back information from you just to protect other people, or they could be not telling you the full story because they don't fully trust you, or they could just be holding it back because maybe there's something that's more embarrassing that they need to hold back. Long story short, you just don't know the full story. You don't know about their business, so stop telling their business. More importantly, it is incredibly dangerous for you to be talking about somebody else's business because at the end of the day, the telephone game is a real thing, and any information that you spread could spread to someone else and then spread to someone else and then spread to someone else. And that could be dangerous, both for you and the other person. You could really get caught up in that. Now all of a sudden you're an accomplice. Now all of a sudden you are somebody who was withholding information. Now all of a sudden you're just a part of it when you don't have to be a part of it. So stop telling other people's business, because it ain't your business to tell. You know what I'm saying? Do not overshare what someone else is going through. Do not overshare what's happening in someone else's life. It's just not right. So to really go hand in hand with that idea, I want you to not overshare anything that you don't want someone else to share. You know, that whole saying about like, don't lend out any money that you're expecting to get back. Don't tell any information that you're expecting to stay private. Because any information that you do give to someone else may have the opportunity to share before you do. And it's just a horrible expectation to have on someone to be private for you, right? Don't put that pressure on somebody. And even if it's not a pressure, even if it is human common decency to not be telling them something that somebody told you, everybody doesn't follow that. Everyone does not follow that code of conduct. Everybody does not have that same structure in their life, right? Some people are blabbermouths. Some people are loud Howards. Some people are just going to tell. You know what I'm saying? Some people are just going to actually tell other people what's happening to you or whatever you told them. And I mean, honestly, this could be anything in the world. This could be about something you're insecure about. You could be telling somebody about someone you don't like. You could be telling somebody about some sort of situation that you're in. You could be telling somebody about anything, right? But don't expect any information that you overshare with somebody, right, to not be overshared again. Don't share any info that you don't want to be shared. It's simple, right? It's simple. If you feel like I don't want nobody else to really know about this, don't tell it. Don't tell it. Don't tell on yourself. It's a bad idea. I want you to think about it like this. Would you ever share your password with someone? No. Why wouldn't you share your password with someone? Because you don't want the possibility that someone else can find out your password, right? You don't want to share it with someone because you don't want the possibility of someone to now know your PIN number that you don't want to know it. Because at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to keep that password private. At the end of the day, it's your responsibility to keep your PIN number private. You're not supposed to share that with anyone because it can be shared amongst a lot of people. Think of anything else in your life that way. Any information that you have about yourself that you don't want to be shared or distributed amongst the public, don't share it. Don't share it. It's simple. So that goes hand in hand with the next thing. Do not share about how bad your life is going. I know a lot of us are in tough places. I know a lot of us are dealing with a lot right now. We got a lot on our plates. But don't be oversharing to random people about how bad your life is going. And the reason why you don't want to overshare how bad your life is going is because it makes you seem complaining, right? It makes you seem like a whiner. It makes you seem like somebody who can't hold their own. It makes you seem like somebody who just doesn't know how to handle their own situation. And even though that might not be the case, maybe you really are falling on hard times, other people may perceive you that way. Other people might feel that way about you, and they're not going to garner any sympathy for you. Well, like I said before, I know we all want to be understood. I know we all want sympathy. I know we all want compassion. But don't expect to be understood. That's a trap. Don't fall for that trap. Don't expect for somebody to understand you and your situation. You are the only one who understands your situation. You're the only one who understands your life. You're the only one who understands everything that you're going through. You're the only one who gets you. So don't fall for the trap of trying to be understood. Don't fall for the trap of searching for compassion and oversharing how bad your situation is right now. Because you ain't going to get it. You ain't going to get it. Nobody cares. It's sad to say, right? I wish that this wasn't the case, but nobody truly cares. You know, when somebody asks you, how's your day going? If you were to tell them my day is going horrendous, everything is horrible, my life is falling apart, everything is in shambles, honestly, they're going to be like, look, what you want me to do? I can't really help you. They're going to walk away and think about themselves and think about their own situation. You're searching for compassion. You're searching for understanding. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get that understanding. So stop doing that. Don't overshare your situation of how bad it might be. It's not worth it. It's very sad. It's very unfortunate. But all that happens is just you change this image that other people have of you. And it makes you seem like somebody who just can't hold their own. It makes you seem weak. It makes you seem needy. It makes you seem incompetent. It makes you just seem like somebody who ain't got it together. And that is okay, right? It's okay to not have it all together. A lot of times in life, we're not going to have it all together. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs, a lot of ins and outs, right? But you ain't got to share it. You don't got to talk about it. It is okay if you got to take your shit and take it to the shit store and get it together, right? I get it. But don't talk about it. Do not share that with anybody. It's a waste of your time. It's actually a waste of your time to be sitting there searching for compassion and searching for some sort of understanding from someone, when you could be really taking your time, your energy, and your focus on trying to solve your problem. Solve your problem. Put your energy there. Don't be trying to search for compassion. Listen, instead of talking about your problems to other people and seeming like a complainer, seem like somebody who's actually doing something about it and do something about it. You might need to go ghost mode, right? You might need to disappear a little while and lock in and just solve your problem. You need to elevate in silence. And we're going to talk about that. I got another video, check it out right here. Go ghost mode. So the next thing I want to tell you to stop oversharing are your strengths and your weaknesses. You might be wondering, why wouldn't I share what I'm best at? Or why wouldn't I share what I'm not that great at? You don't want to overshare your strengths, because if you do, you can get pigeonholed into a position that you don't want to be in. The second you tell somebody, hey, I'm really good at X, now they think, oh, because you're good at X, I can always rely on you to do X. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that you've already told everybody that your strength was actual, literal, physical strength, right? You've been going around bragging how you've been going to the gym, you've been getting stronger, you've been getting bigger, right? Now, all of a sudden, every time that somebody needs to move, they're asking you to help them move their furniture. You get what I'm saying? You get pigeonholed into a position that you may not want to be in. Look, just because I like lifting weights don't mean I want to lift your couch. Just because I like lifting weights don't mean I want to carry all your boxes. But you've been talking about what your strength is, right? And obviously that's an easy one. That's a strength. Your strength is your strength. Well, let's say your strength was baking cakes. Now all of a sudden, every single time there's a celebration, a family gathering or something like that, they want you to make the cake. They're depending on you. And unless that's the position that you want to be in, I would suggest not telling people what your strengths are. It's just kind of a bad position to be in, right? You don't want everybody to always look at you as that person. You don't want to be categorized. You don't want to be put into a box. This can be especially detrimental at work. If you are a person who's actually good at doing that one hard task, and they know that you're the one person who's good at doing that hard task, they're going to always ask you to do it. They're going to always ask you. They're going to make you be that designated person to do the most difficult thing just because they know that you're really good at it. Keep that a secret. Unless you want that to be you, unless you want to be doing that super hard task all the time, don't tell. Don't overshare what your strength is. Keep it to yourself. Going back into your weaknesses, the reason why you don't want to overshare them is because somebody can hold that against you, right? Somebody can hold it over your head and dangle it over your head and make it into some sort of situation that you just don't want to be in. Going back to the work situation, if somebody knows what your weaknesses are, they know this task that you hate doing, this thing that you don't like to do, this thing they know that you're not good at, they can use it as an opportunity to embarrass you. They can use it as an opportunity to get you to do something they know for a fact you don't like. You know what I mean? A manager like, hey, go clean the bathroom because I know you hate it. I know you don't like that. You're telling them what your weakness is. It's a bad idea. You are oversharing something that is really just going to put you in a bad position. You don't want to be locked into an area of perceived prowess, but you also don't want to be having your weaknesses exploited. You don't want somebody who is going to always be able to look at you and know, I know that you don't like this. I know you're not good at this, so I'm going to make you do it. I want to watch you fail. I want to watch you struggle. I want to watch you squirm. Everybody hates that. We've all been placed in those situations before. And a lot of times it's because we opened up and told somebody, hey, I don't really like this. I don't feel comfortable with this. I'm not really a fan of doing this particular task. And a lot of times, the second that you show some sort of weakness, unfortunately, it's like the second that you tell somebody like something and be vulnerable in that kind of way, the second you show that belly, that underbelly, they stab it, They try to gut you. They try to disembowel you. So just don't do it. Don't turn over and show your belly. Don't tell people what your weaknesses are. Don't tell them that. It's just bad for you. It's bad business. The next thing I want to talk to you about oversharing is very important, right? I want you to take heed of this. Take great notes of this. Do not overshare your past mistakes. Don't overshare your regrets. Don't overshare past misdeeds. Don't overshare something that you regret, right? Just keep that to yourself. Talk to a therapist about it. Put it in a journal. Talk to a pastor. Talk to, a grandparent. Talk to somebody that is going to actually have some sort of compassion for you about it. But in all honesty, for the majority of people, do not talk about your past mistakes. Don't talk about misdeeds. Don't talk about anything that you do that you regret. And the main reason why you don't want to overshare a past mistake is because, again, you put this image in someone else's head of who you were at that time and not who you are currently. You're giving them imagery, right? You're giving them some sort of ammo of something that you feel shame and guilt about. Once somebody recognizes that you feel shame and guilt about something, they can weaponize that against you. They can hold it over your head. They can dangle it over your head and always use it against you. You know what I mean? They can use it in a manipulative way, or they could really just torture you with it. In a manipulative way, let's say, for an example, let's say that you had anger issues and you really yelled at somebody that you were in a relationship with at some point, right? Let's say that you used to yell, you used to scream at the top of your lungs, or you would have these anger issues and it would be a problem. But you've worked on that over the years. You've been able to get past that and get through that. But you share that with someone. You share that with someone that you're dating right now. Now all of a sudden they do something that sets you off, right? Now all of a sudden they do something and they're in the wrong. They're clearly in the wrong. They're clearly in the wrong. And you're getting ready to talk to them about it, and all of a sudden they bring it up. Oh, what about those anger issues? Are you getting ready to yell at me? You getting ready to scream at me like you did the last girl? You know, now they're throwing it in your face. And you're starting to feel that shame and that guilt again. It's coming up in the pit of your stomach. You're feeling all those feelings, that negativity. It has now been weaponized. It is now being used against you. Even though you were being vulnerable with somebody, even though you were sharing something out of wanting compassion, out of wanting understanding, out of wanting to be understood. I understand why you would want to tell somebody, but sometimes it's just not wise. It's not wise to overshare those past mistakes or overshare that regret. You really make somebody have this idea of who you were and not who you are. Instead, you need to highlight what you have learned. Don't talk about the mistake, just talk about the lesson that you learned. Talk about what you have garnered out of the situation. Talk about how you have evolved. Talk about how you are now progressing into a new version of yourself, right? Don't talk about the past mistake. Don't talk about that regret. Releasing this deep, dark secret. They don't need to know. You know what I mean? They don't need to know. Put that in a journal. Talk to a therapist. But this person that you're talking to, they don't need to know about this thing because they could just torture you with it. Shame and guilt should not reign supreme in your life. I repeat, shame and guilt should not reign supreme in your life. That thing that you regret should not live rent-free in your head. You shouldn't always be thinking about it. You shouldn't always be suffering through it. And the second that you plant that seed of shame and guilt into someone else's head, you know what I'm saying? They understand, they recognize the deep feelings that you feel about this. They understand the anguish that it makes you feel. They can use it against you. And that's one of the most sad things in the world, but it happens. It happens. But you can take control of your narrative, so control your narrative. Don't talk about the past mistake. Don't talk about that regret. Talk about who you are becoming. Talk about who you became. Talk about how you're still changing, how you're still evolving. You know what I mean? Talk about the good. Bring yourself up. Keep yourself in check. The next thing that I want to call out is you sharing your good deeds. Stop oversharing your good deeds. Stop telling everybody about every single good thing that you do. You know, stop asking for that pat on the back. Stop looking for somebody to look at you as some shining angel of justice, right? Stop looking for somebody to look at you as a good person. If you're actually a good person, if you really want to do this good deed, you just do it. You do it because you feel like it. You don't got to talk about it. You don't got to share it. You don't need to let somebody know that you've done something good. The main reason why you don't want to tell people about your good deeds is because it makes you look like somebody who only does it for some sort of validation. It makes you look like you're the person who you're doing something good because you want a pat on the back. You're doing something good just because you want other people to hear. As in, if nobody was to ever see it, if no one was to ever know, you would never do that thing. You would never give that homeless person money. You would never volunteer at that shelter. You would never, donate to this orphanage. You would never do this one thing unless somebody else was to be able to know. Now, does this negate the actual good deed itself? I don't think so. I don't think that it negates the good deed for the other person, but it might negate the karma that you receive for it, because now you're making it a personal thing. And now you're making it about you. You're making it selfish. When it's supposed to be altruistic, it's supposed to be something that you're doing out of the good humanitarian heart that you have, whether somebody knows or whether somebody doesn't know. You know what I mean? You felt it in your heart. You wanted to do that. You wanted to help that person. You wanted to donate. You wanted to do that good thing. You don't need to tell somebody about it. You don't need to share it. You do it because it's good. You do it because it's right. Be righteous. You get what I'm saying? Be righteous. Be real. The second that you're starting to tell somebody about the fact that you did something, you're negating that good, positive energy that you put out there for yourself to come back. You know what I mean? If you want it to come back to you, it's like you do it because it's real. You do it because it's real to you. It's right for you. Don't negate it. It just leaves a really foul taste in people's mouth when you tell them about the good things that you do, because it just makes you, I don't know, it just doesn't seem genuine. It just doesn't seem real. It just makes it seem so self-centered, you know? Even if you really did do something great, even if you really did do something good, just don't talk about it. You know, if somebody finds out on their own that you did this wonderful thing, then that's something else, you know? If somebody else finds out and they talk to you about it, claim it. You know, don't deny it. Don't act like, no, I didn't do that, and try to act all cool. But don't be going around spreading it either. If you want to be a good person, just be a good person because you want to be a good person. Don't be a good person because you want something out of it. You want some sort of notoriety, some sort of validation, some sort of pat on the back, some sort of, you know what I'm saying, stamp of approval, a gold star on your chest. Like, look, just do that good thing because you felt it in your heart to do it. Do it because it felt right. Do it because your soul was telling you to. Your soul cried out and was like, you know, I gotta do this. This is the right thing to do. This is righteous. Be righteous. And the last thing that I want to tell you to stop oversharing is your secret formula. Do not share your Krabby Patty secret formula. Don't share your secret sauce. Don't share that thing that gives you your je ne sais quoi. We all got something, right? Something about us that's just special to us. It's our special technique. It's our special thing. And I'm not here to discuss what that could be because it's special, right? Your family secret, your one thing, that secret recipe for success, for a dish, for anything. Don't share your secret sauce. Once your secret sauce ain't no longer secret, it ain't special no more. You know what I mean? Don't share your secret sauce. Don't give them that secret recipe. It's a secret. And it's a secret for a reason. You know what I mean? Do not overshare that. That's a very simple one. Like, literally, this can apply to so many different things, but like, we all got something. We all got our specialty. We all got something that just we are the only ones who know how to do it. We're the only ones who know how to do it the way we do it. And once you share that thing, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? It's a wrap. You just don't want to share that thing. Keep your secret sauce secret. But hey, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. You know what I'm saying? Just stop oversharing. I understand that we really just want to be understood. We really just want compassion. We really just want for people to really, you know what I mean, give us some human decency. But in all honesty, when you're oversharing, when you're trying so hard to be vulnerable in these spaces, in these times, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work out for you. It backfires. It blows up in your face. So stop oversharing. That's all I'm really trying to tell you to do. Just don't overshare. But hey, I really love y'all. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. I just recently got my 1,000 subscribers. Like, I'm ecstatic. I can't believe that y'all have been out here supporting me like this. Thank you for supporting your boy. Like, for real. I love y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for rocking with me. You know, I'm telling you that because, you know, I want to let you know that I really appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart, because realistically, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So much love, and I hope to see you in the next one. All right, peace.